Hola, feliz viernes. Yo soy Rory, soy tu instructor de español. Gracias por estar conmigo hoy. Este fin de semana es el primer fin de semana de este otoño en el que mis hijos no tienen ningún deporte. Hemos estado con partidos de fútbol americano, partidos de fútbol para las dos niñas y mañana empezamos a reclamar nuestros fines de semana. Finalmente podemos descansar como familia. Es muy divertido verlos y apoyarlos en sus deportes, pero a la vez es un poco cansado cuando son como 10, 11 fines de semana, una tras otra que siempre tienen sus deportes. Pero hoy estamos hablando ser y estar. Those two verbs that can cause dolor de cabeza for anyone speaking Espanol, and especially for you if you're a native English speaker and you're working on trying to figure out how to manage these two verbs that both mean to be in Espanol. Let's dive in and take a look first at the different conjugaciones, just for a quick review. So, las conjugaciones del verbo ser. Yo soy, I am. Tú eres, you are. Él, ella, usted es, so he is, she is, and you, usted, are. Nosotros somos, we are. Vosotros sois, y'all are, but this is the you all, this is the you guys only in Europe, in European Spanish, in Spain Spanish. So it's marked not because it's not valid or because it's not real Spanish. It's legit Spanish, 100%. It's, when we think about keeping it simple, it's one of those not so useful subjects in Spanish here in the Americas because it's just not used. Bien. Ellos, ellas, ustedes, they, and you all are, son. Okay? Bien. Now we move on to estar. Yo estoy, also I am, just like yo soy. This is why this gets tricky. Tú estás, you are. Él, ella, usted está, he, she, or you, ¿verdad? Nosotros estamos, we are, again. Vosotros estáis, again, same thing, mostly just Spain. And ellos, ellas, ustedes están. Perfecto. So here we have our conjugaciones. That's not the hard part. The hard part is figuring out when to use ser o estar in some frases. Let's take a look at some examples para empezar. So, unos ejemplos of these two verbs in context. Bien. Yo soy instructor de español. Yo soy instructor de español. I'm a Spanish instructor. Yo estoy contento con mi trabajo. I'm happy with my job, ¿verdad? Yo no soy de Colorado. Yo soy de Seattle, Washington. I'm not from Colorado. I'm from Seattle. Ahora que vivo en Colorado, but now that I live in Colorado, solamente estoy en Washington durante Thanksgiving. Día de Acción de Gracias. Solamente estoy en Washington. Mi carro no es nuevo. Mi carro no es nuevo. Pero no es viejo tampoco, but it's not old either. Es de 2006. You might be thinking, wow, that's old, Rory. I just have a little over 100,000 on it, so it's got lots of life left. Bien. Leslie es mi esposa. Leslie es mi esposa. Ella es alta, rubia, blonde, inteligente, muy activa y muy bonita. ¿Sí? Muy bonita. But la pierna de Leslie está adolorida, is hurt. No puede correr como antes. She can't run like she used to. Hoy es viernes. Today is Friday. Y son las 12 de la tarde. Más o menos. Hoy es viernes, today is Friday, and it's 12 o'clock. Mis hijos no tienen escuela hoy. My kids don't have school today. Así que ellos están trabajando conmigo. So they're working with me. La puerta de la oficina está cerrada. Okay? Está cerrada. The office door is closed. Bien. So, unos ejemplos of ser y estar en acción. And as you see some of these, you're probably thinking, oh yeah, that's when you use estar, that's when you use ser, but there is a problema. El problema is that en inglés solamente tenemos I am, you are, he, she, or it is, we are, and y'all are, and they are. So this is all we have in inglés. We just have one verb to be. Pero en español tenemos que escoger. We have to choose. Soy versus estoy. Y tenemos que choose eres, estás. Es versus está. Somos versus estamos. Sois versus estáis if we're speaking to Spaniards or in Spain. Son versus están. So we have to make a choice. The problem is we can't just know one verb to be and use it like we would in English. We have to choose ser or estar. So, ¿cómo escogemos? ¿Cómo elegimos? Now, if you've studied some Spanish before, you probably have some misunderstandings or some bad habits with ser and estar. It's not a problem. I'm going to help you fix them today, okay? So the very first one, and I hear it all the time, and it's right some of the time, not all the time, permanent versus temporary. Get that out of your mind because it's not right enough to bank on it, okay? Now, if you're just a very, very beginner and you don't have a lot of bandwidth for figuring, for all the different intricacies of ser and estar, you could default to this little nursery rhyme. I'm a dork, so I do stuff like this. Our little nursery rhyme goes like this. Twinkle, twinkle, use estar for how you feel and where you are. Okay, now this works 90% of the time. It's using estar for feelings and location. All right, but most of you are not babies and you're doing this because you want to improve your Espanol and take it the next step. And so I'm going to give you some very specific acronyms to help you guide your thinking about these two verbs. So, tenemos que pensar, first of all, en contexto. You can see that this is context here, right? How you feel and where you are. And all those examples previously were using ser and estar, but not interchangeably in the same context. They were different contexts, right? I'm from Seattle, but now that I live in Colorado, I am in Seattle just once a year at Thanksgiving. So different context, where I'm from versus where I'm at, and how you feel, that's a context. Where you are, that's a context. Let's get more specific. So, tenemos que pensar en contexto. Now, if I were you, imagine this line is a strong barrier between the two verbs because the verbs don't cross that line. They're not interchangeable. Okay, so here we have, starting with ser, our acronym is going to be corto. Corto. Corto is the word for short in Spanish. Características. Characteristics is our first use of el verbo ser. Características, occupation. Okay, yo soy instructor de español. Relationship. We're going to see some examples here in a minute. Time, whenever you're telling time. Origin, talking about where someone's from. Okay, so that's el verbo ser, corto. Characteristics, occupation, relationship, time, and origin. All right, now we're going to move on to el verbo estar. Estar, we're using the acronym place. So for place, we have P, position. We have L, location. We have A is our action. Los niños están trabajando. C is condition. And E is emotion. All right, so let's take a look at corto. We're going to start with ser, look at corto, and see how these different uses show up. Okay? Bien. So, corto, para los usos de ser, characteristics. Leslie, ella, Leslie es alta, rubia, inteligente, muy activa y muy bonita. Right? That was from our original slide. So, ella es alta, she is tall. Ella es rubia, she's blonde. Inteligente, smart. Muy activa, very active, very pretty. ¿Verdad? Okay, characteristics. These are not how someone feels. They could be physical characteristics. They could be personality characteristics. It doesn't matter, okay? Occupation. Yo soy instructor de español. ¿Cuál es su profesión? You might say, yo soy enfermera. I'm a nurse. Yo soy asociado médico. I'm a PA. Yo soy médico. Yo soy estudiante. You're not going to say yo estoy for any of those. It's going to be yo soy, ¿verdad? So, instructor de español, occupation. Relationship. So, talking about a relationship. Leslie es mi esposa. Leslie is my wife. Time. Whenever you're telling time en español. Bien? Hoy es viernes. Now, Friday isn't a time, but it's times, dates, etc. A little bit bigger than time specifically. Son las 12 de la tarde. It is 12 o'clock. Notice that son is plural because our time is plural. Okay, son las 12. If it were 1 o'clock, this would be es. Es la una de la tarde. Okay, hoy es viernes. Mañana es sábado. Tomorrow is Saturday, ¿verdad? Okay, origin. Origin. Yo no soy de Colorado. I'm not from Colorado. Yo soy de Seattle. I'm from Seattle. Okay? Bien. Ahora, moving on to place. Los usos del verbo estar. P, position. La puerta de la oficina está cerrada. The office doors are closed. No está abierta. It's not open, ¿verdad? Location. Ahora que vivo en Colorado, now that I live in Colorado, solamente estoy en Washington durante Thanksgiving. I'm only in Washington at Thanksgiving. Yo viajo una vez al año. Okay? Action. Mis hijos no tienen escuela hoy. My kids don't have school today. Así que ellos están trabajando conmigo. So, están trabajando, this is a verb form. It's a verb tense, really. It's called a progressive, where we have estar as a helping verb, and then our real verb with an ando or iendo ending. Okay? Condition. La pierna de Leslie está adolorida. That's the condition it's in. It's not really characteristic. It's not the normal characteristic of a leg, ¿verdad? It is in pain. It's sore. It's hurt. No puede correr como antes. Okay? Emotion. Yo estoy contento con mi trabajo. I'm happy with my work, with my job. Okay, so we have corto and place. Now I'm going to give you a chance to see some sentences and you make a decision why it is or isn't the way it is. So, ¿por qué es así? ¿Por qué así? Ella es asociada médica. What's the reason? Think corto, place. Well, it is ser. We see ser, es. So now you got to think corto. Which of the corto reasons is making this es? Vamos a ver. Profesión, occupation. Occupation. So we're talking about the profesión, the occupation of ella. Ella es asociada médica, PA. Los pies del paciente están elevados. Los pies. The patient's feet are elevated. Okay. Están. All right. El verbo estar, place. What's the reason? What's the place reason? Position. The position they're in. They're elevated. Okay. Desafortunadamente el brazo está fracturado. Unfortunately, the arm is fractured. What's the reason? It's estar. Which of our place reasons fits this context best? Condition. It is broken. Okay? The condition that it's in. That's not characteristic of the arm. It's the condition or the state that it's in at the moment. Okay? La paciente es la hija de mi hermano. Ella es mi sobrina. The patient is the daughter of my brother. She is my niece. What's the relationship? I just gave it to you. Relationship. Muy bien. All right, perfecto. La cirugía es hoy. Creo que es a las 2 de la tarde. The surgery's today. I think it's at 2 p.m. What's the use here? We see that it's ser, so what's the uso? We have corto to work with. El uso es time, ¿verdad? Ok, continuamos. La paciente está muy nerviosa por la cirugía. The patient is very nervous because of the surgery. So, what is our uso aquí? We know that it's estar, so we're going to go with place. Emotion, ¿verdad? The last one, emotion. Y aquí tenemos la paciente no habla inglés. The patient doesn't speak English. Yo creo que es de la República Dominicana. I think she is from the Dominican Republic. So we have el verbo ser aquí. What's our uso? We have corto to think about. What's our uso con el verbo ser? Origin, ¿verdad? Okay, ahora intenta tú. Now you give it a shot, okay? Tenemos el monitor es o está prendido. The monitor is turned on. El monitor es o está prendido. What do you think? El monitor está prendido. That's the condition that it's in, ¿verdad? Está prendido, okay? Or the state that it's in. Muchos hispanohablantes son o están obreros de construcción aquí en Denver. So, many Spanish speakers are construction laborers here in Denver. Obreros. That's a good word for you, obrero. Muchos hispanohablantes son o están obreros de construcción aquí en Denver. What do you think? Corto or place? Muchos hispanohablantes son obreros de construcción aquí en Denver. Son, occupation, obrero. Okay? La mamá del paciente es o está preocupada. The patient's mom is worried. Corto or place? La mamá del paciente está preocupada. She is worried. Okay? Notice that we're not just choosing ser and estar. We also have to make sure we're using the proper form that matches the subject, right? I've given you the forms here to choose from, so I've taken that brain work away from you, but in a regular everyday setting, you would be saying la mamá and be thinking, okay, la mamá, yeah, that's not ellos, it's not ellas, it's not yo, it's not tú, it's not usted, it's ella, she, okay? Bien, let's keep going. ¿Dónde es o está la familia del paciente? Where is the patient's family? What's your guess? Corto or place? ¿Dónde está la familia del paciente? La familia está en la cafetería. Location, right? La insuficiencia cardíaca es o está una enfermedad grave. Insuficiencia cardíaca, heart failure, is a serious or grave illness, ¿verdad? So which one? Corto or place? La insuficiencia cardíaca es una enfermedad grave. Es. Characteristic. Insuficiencia cardíaca. You want to know this word, insuficiencia. That's what most of your organ failure words is going to be. So, insuficiencia cardíaca, heart failure. Insuficiencia renal, kidney failure. Insuficiencia hepática, liver failure. Okay? So it's always insufficiency, not necessarily failure. Okay? ¿Qué hora es or qué hora está? What time is it? Corto or place? Corto. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 12:15 de la tarde. 5 minutes behind. Actually, son las 12:20. So, ¿qué hora es? What time is it? Oncología es o está en el cuarto piso. Oncology, like the department, oncology es o está en el cuarto piso. Oncology is on the 4th floor. Corto or place? place. Oncología está en el cuarto piso. And that one's a specific, that's a location where it is, ¿verdad? Okay, that's it for today, but I wanted to share one more thing. If you're in the Learning Medical Spanish group, then you already know about this, but a quick reminder that tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, I'm giving a quick little orientation info session about our Winter 18 Medical Spanish Immersion Program in Nicaragua and Costa Rica. Would love to have you join, so find that event there in the timeline and go ahead and join us if you'd like to. We'll do it in a Google Hangout. But whether you can or can't make it, muchas gracias for joining me today. I look forward to continuing to work with you. Thanks for your efforts in using responsible medical Spanish. It really does make a difference with your patients. Hey, send me a note if I can help you tackle any particular topics during our Video Viernes lessons. Hasta luego. Buen fin de semana. Hey, thank you for joining me today on this Video Viernes lesson. I wanted to invite you to join our community if you're not a member of the Facebook group already, that I deliver these live lessons in on most every Friday. And also point you to the website where you can find a bunch more information about medical Spanish, whether that be courses or free materials for you, or finding a private tutor to work with you online or face-to-face. And also let you know about some amazing Spanish immersion programs, either you as a medical person or your significant other as working in some other industry, or your family. If you want to improve your Spanish and you have time and budget to go do some travel, our programs are pretty amazing. I think it'd be fun to work with you. And finally, if you have some document work at your clinic or at your hospital or within your setting that needs to be professionally translated, shoot me a message, upload your document to us, and we can get you a quick quote and help you out with your Spanish language documents as well. Have a great day.